Hi guys, so welcome to this weather app. We shall be building this weather app using JavaScript, guys. So at this point, let me just walk you through it to just demonstrate how it works and what we shall be building. So you can come here and just type in a country of your choice or a city if you want, so and the information will be displayed like that. You can also type in, let's say, Canada, yeah, something like that. Let's type in a city, New York. Press enter. Yeah, country New York. Time, the condition is overcast. Temperature, and if you try to enter a city that doesn't exist or a country that doesn't exist, no matching location found. If it's empty, if the input tag is empty, guess, look at what we get. Enter valid city or town. So this is what we shall be building, guys. It's a simple weather app using JavaScript. Hope you shall enjoy it. Yeah, what other country can I think of? North Pole. Let's try North Pole. What is it going to bring? United States of America, city, North Pole. Temperature, oh okay, night, currently night. That's the icon, right there, guys. So yeah, guys, I am excited and I hope to see you. I am excited to be the one taking you this video, so stay tuned and I hope to see you in the next part of this video. Thank you for your time, guys. So welcome back, and what I have done is, I've just gone ahead and created a folder. I've just called it YT Weather App, then I've opened it up in VS Code. You can open it up in your preferred text editor or code editor if you prefer. So yeah, once I did that, I just created some new files. I just came here where it says new files. I created an HTML file, JavaScript file, and the CSS file. As you can currently see, they are all empty. So let's start with our HTML. You can just press shift and 1 in order for it to create for us like a boilerplate. Then you can always change this to a weather app, whatever you just prefer. Weather app. Then you can just come here and write an h1. Let's just call this weather app. Then you can come here and just create a div. Inside this div, you can just create another. Before you create anything, let's create a form. Let's get rid of this. So right here, then we can create an input tag, type text here. Here you can create a button, and let's just call this get weather. As simple as that. Then we can give it, if we want, we can give it an ID since there's only one button. But if you want, you can go ahead and give it an ID. And just below the form tag, guys, we can create a div with a class of headings, because there shall be a lot of headings, guys. That's one thing for certain. Then we can just create h2s. Let's give them classes, like different classes. Let's just duplicate this because there shall be a load, guys. Matter of fact, guys, instead of classes, I prefer we give them IDs. Yep, instead of classes, let's just give them IDs. So the first one will be country, here to be city, and the next part will be local time. Then this part will be message, the message in short, more like for the condition. Then we got the temperature, yeah, the temperature. Then last but not least, we can image tag, img tag. The source, let's just leave them like that for the meantime. Then for here where it says local time, let's just say yo, let me just write your info will be displayed here. Let's save that. Let's hit go live. Are we live now yet? 7 whatever the hell that is, port 5500. So let's just come here. Yeah, so this is what we get, guys. Your info weather app, input tag, get weather. So yeah, let's now dive into the JavaScript, guys. Let's head back and dive into our JavaScript. Alright guys, so once we're back in our JavaScript, the thing I would like us to do is, get these tags, these h2 tags by their IDs. So let's grab the first ones, which is on date, country name be equal to document dot get element by ID, and what we're looking for is this ID right here, guys, this ID country. So you can just do country there, then you can go to the next one, which is city. Yeah, so you can select city, and these are just variables, guys. Remember, whatever we're getting from the DOM, we're just storing it in a variable known as country and city. So we can equally do the same here. You can just say document dot get element by ID, and the ID we're looking for, what's the ID name? City. Yeah, as simple as that, guys. Yep. So I have the remaining ones copied to my clipboard, so I don't know if that's right, if I can say that, but yeah, so I'm just going to paste it in. So remember, I'm just getting the log time, the message, the temperature, the image, document dot. For the image, pay attention, guys. For the image, I am using query selector, and for the input tag, I am also using the query selector and not the document.get element by ID, because they don't have IDs for the image and the input. They don't have IDs. So yeah, but otherwise that's it, guys. For the remaining ones, temperature, message, same thing, which is same things that are here. So once I have that, guys, what I would love to do is get this button right here, and we can use the query selector for that. So let's just say let btn be equal to document dot query selector, and what we are looking for is the button. So once we do that, guys, just to make sure it's working, you can always do button dot btn dot add event listener, and the type of event listener we are looking for is the click, and we're just going to call this function known as get weather. As simple as that. So you can just come here, let's just say event listeners. So let's just say function get weather, as simple as that, guys. Let's just console.log. Let's just console.log something like working, save, head into our browser, Control-Shift-C if you're on Windows. For Mac, I don't know how you do it, guys. If you want to open your dev tools. So yeah, this is what we're looking for, our dev tools. Let me just close this. Yeah, so we can come here, then whenever to make sure it's working. We actually, since it's a form, guys, in order to prevent it from like reloading like what you just saw, what you can do is, we have access to the event object. What we can do is just say e.prevent default. It's a method. Hit save. Is it saved? Yeah, it is. So we can head back. Same thing keeps happening. Why is that? Let me see why I got that wrong. Function get weather. So yeah, guys, I just worked on the problem. So the whole reason we are getting this thing, when you press this, then it automatically like refreshes, or submits it. That's by default, that's what a form does, guys. So the whole reason that was happening is because we actually forgot to hook up our JavaScript, so you can just say, you can just come in and just say script, then the source, which is this thing right here. Then we can do it in advance for the CSS so that we shouldn't forget. And what we are looking for is this style.css. If we hit save, yeah, come here, this is already saved. We go into our browser. So when we press here, we actually see this thing getting logged out to the console. Yeah, so that was the little error, guys, and yeah, it was just something simple. So yeah, once we have done this, guys, the next thing would be to start working with our APIs. So like, yeah, I am at this website known as rapidapi.com. They have a bunch of APIs, guys, which you can use for free. So what we are looking for, you can just come here. Once you're at the landing page or the home page for rapidapi.com, you can just come here and search for weather API. Then there'll be a bunch of APIs. Then you can just choose this weather API, this type of API, with this symbol right there. Yeah, or you can just follow this link, guys. You can just copy this link into your browser. So like, yeah, once we get there, guys, which one are we looking for? We can do this one up, yeah, and we can just, let's test it, guys. Let's test it. So you can just come here and search for, what country are you going to search for? Let's just search for England. So what we can do is come in, you have to subscribe, by the way. Here you won't see this by default, to be written subscribe. If this is your first time, then just press there and you'll be able to test it. So once you test the endpoint, it brings for you this thing. So so that you can have a glance of what it brings, to bring this object, with all these things, all these things in it. Yeah, so where's that thing I wanted to show you guys? Code snippet. You can actually change this from, this is actually, the code snippets are for Node.js, but you can change it to JavaScript. You can just come here and choose which one you want to use. We are going to choose the fetch. Then you can just come in, copy it to your clipboard. Then instead of this, we can just paste it. And for my API keys, guys, this is very important. This thing has to be hidden. So once I am done with this tutorial, guys, I shall go back and change it. And once you are uploading it to your GitHub, make sure you hide this thing, guys. This is very important. So you have to start practicing in advance, hiding important data that you don't want to expose once you upload your projects to your GitHub account, guys. So yeah, and what we can do this, since this is a promise, what you'd actually want is, say, let me just do this. So I am going to come here, response. Then what I can do is, instead of this, I can just say response.json. I want you to return a response.json. So whatever we get to be returning a JSON, to be retaining that response in a JSON format, So once we are done that, guys, we have access to the returned data, or the returned response in short. So we can just say data there, and what we can do is just come here, then clg data, console.log the data, hit save. If everything is alright, and we head back to our browser, so just give it a second. Let me clear this. Get weather, give it a second. Since this is what a promise, you have to give it a second to load. So yeah, the issue was over here, guys. I actually forgot to return, since we're trying to retain whatever we're getting from this promise, we're trying to retain it. I actually forgot to manually write the return keyword, unless it was an arrow function, unless if I'd excluded this, then there would have been no need for me to include this. And what have I done? So yeah, once we save this, guys, we should be good to go. Then head back into our browser. Let me just get this, let me just clear that, get weather. So as you can see guys, we get an object with 2 elements. So once we have done that guys, we can just go ahead and start with displaying this thing to our browser. So what we can do is just say we can grab the country name dot inner HTML and set it to, let me just show you what I want to set it to. You see, when we get our location, or I mean this is our current, what am I looking for? I'm looking for the location. We had the country, local time, name, I think this is, I don't know what this is. Oh, location, I don't know what that is. Region, yeah, and the ID to Europe, London. You get, so you can just like pick out what you want from the condition. Like the current, you can get the humidity is day. If it was 0, then it would have meant day, yeah. So this is what I'm looking for, country. So let me just show you what I mean. Is equals to data dot location, or location dot country. If I hit save, so this thing would have been refreshed. So let me do this, get weather United Kingdom. So but what I would like us to do is, let's put this in a string literal or template literal, so what I am looking for is this. Put this inside of this. Then what we can say is country, hit save, then go back just to make it a little bit appealing or pleasing. Country United Kingdom. So the next thing would be for city guys. So the city, there's the variable for city, same thing, you just do city dot text content is equals to data dot location. If you ain't sure guys, you just have to come back and check the country, location, or the name. It didn't sit, but it has to be data dot, so it has to be data dot location dot name. So then you'd like have to come here, dot name, and to be the same thing. So here what you can do is just do something like city. You're not limited to the string literal only, you can still come here and do something like that, string concatenation, you have many options guys, you shouldn't feel limited. Then once you're back here, you can like try it. So the country, United Kingdom, city, London, so what would be the next thing? The next thing would be for the local time. So for the local time, you can just say local time dot inner HTML or inner text. Which one did we use? You can just say inner text is equals to string literal if you want. Let's just say local time. Then we can just put this in. Yeah, what are we looking for? Data dot, was it in the location? Yeah, location, data dot location dot local time dot local time. And you get the gist guys. You can do this for the remaining ones, but let me just copy and paste them not to bore you that much. So yeah guys, I have done that. I've just like copied and pasted the remaining things. Then we can hit save, then go back, get weather, local time undefined, current is not defined at main. Oh, I actually made a mistake, guys. I had destructured, but I will show you this why I had done this at first. Then we can just say data dot, yep, then come here, give it a second, boom, should load. Did we fetch? So United Kingdom, the local time is undefined, partly cloudy, so there's something wrong with the local time. So, where's the local time? Data dot location, it's supposed to be location dot local time. Yeah, so but guys, if you notice one pattern, you know, like there's this thing we keep on repeating. So what we can do is there's a thing known as object destructuring. You know, you can just destructure this. So what we're looking for is the location and the current is equals to data. So once we do that, what we can do is we can omit this data, you know, just to make this thing a little bit appealing. So the same thing applies for location, you know. So if you wanted to like destructure that, what you can do is const then you get what you want to like put what you want to get from the location inside of this curly bracket. So let's, for example, wanted to get name, local time in country, local time, name in country, and just set this equal to location, you know. So that would be the same thing, guys. That would have meant that you have destructured it. You can go ahead and do the same for current if you wanted, but I won't do that, guys. I was just showing you. So like, yeah, so once we go back, let's just check these things are working. All right, get weather, your info will be displayed here. Your info will be displayed here. Inner text, did I make a mistake somewhere? Sorry guys, what was I thinking? It's supposed to be location, not local time. You know, how do I keep on making these silly errors? But yeah, there you go, guys. Everything is working fine. Now you might say, like, how come the time I was showing you guys, like, we got to search for a city or for the country, then we like this time we're just like it's automatically bringing for us London. So well, that's an easy thing, guys. What you can do is let's turn this into an object literal, a string literal, string template, whatever you prefer to call it. So here we can just say and it's equal to, let's make a variable called my city, referring to the city we're trying to search for, and just initialize it to an empty string. And here we can actually set it to my city. Then what we can do, guys, is whenever we press on, let me show you, whenever we press this, we want to update the value of my city to whatever is inside the input value, whatever is in the input value at that point in time, guys. I hope that's very clear, or I don't know if what I have explained is quite understandable, but let me show you what I mean. So what I'm just saying is my city is equals to whatever is inside the input dot value. So remember, my the input tag, we have grabbed the input tag, and by default we have the input tag. We have a lot of properties that come with the input tag, you know. We have value and some other things, guys. So if we did that, and if we hope for everything to be right, what we can actually do is clg my city, hit save. Yeah, if everything is right, and since we are manually update, what are we going to search for? Canada. When we press enter, we should see Canada logged out here. Let's give it time to fetch. Bad request, cannot read. So yeah guys, the whole reason we're getting this type of errors like cannot read whatever over and find is because if you pay attention, I actually forgot to put our our $sign since this is a variable, and that's the whole reason why we're getting that silly error. Forgive me for my silly error once again guys, I am so sorry. So let's save this thing. If we save this thing and go back, everything is right this time. I am very certain, I don't expect any error. Yeah, and we don't. Let's type in USA, United States of America, and yeah, it works. But guys, if you notice one thing, when I press this button, like we ain't getting rid of this, like we're still having it. So what can I do? So yeah, that's an easy thing guys. What you can do is just at the end, since we're in a function at the moment, or in this function right here, so just below that function, or where that function closes, what we can do is reset the input, the value of our input back to an empty string, and hit save. Simple as that guys. So we can come here and search for something like Denmark, and if you press enter, yeah, there it goes. But what happens if we press here while this thing is empty? What do we get? An error, of course, and it says parameter q is missing, so you need to put something in here. So like we need to write logic. What do you think we can do if we wanted like to prevent people from submitting a thing or an input tag which is empty or which doesn't have a value? Well, that's simple guys, you guessed it right. The same thing you're thinking of right now. We can use an if else statement, and just check. So what we can do is we can just come here and say if my city is equals to an empty string, what we can just do is console.log value cannot be empty. Save this, head back to our browser. If we press this, value cannot be empty, but it's still fetching. So once we have done that, and since it's working, so what we can do is just write an else statement. Else, we just want this thing, let's just move which whole thing? Else, this whole thing here, just move it inside our else statement, hit save, and yeah, try submitting this, and it doesn't fetch. Guys. So yeah, you can actually so what you can actually do is, instead of this, you can update it to something like, let's grab it. So yeah guys, I already have it copied out my clipboard to avoid wasting your time. So this is what I mean. If my city is empty, you can just like grab this thing right here, the country thing, and update its text input or its value, update its value to enter a valid city. So if we save this, head back into our browser, then try submitting something that's empty, we get that, enter a valid city. But what happens if search for something that doesn't exist? Reading country, what type of error do we get? No matching location found. Well, what you can do for that is simple. You can just copy this thing right here, and what we can do is, instead of just console logging out the error, what you can do is you can actually move this thing to, we can just cut this thing and update it to here. Is somewhere in the middle, like in the middle there, just to make it a little bit appealing. We set this to an empty string, then yeah, that should be it. So if we try to randomly enter something that doesn't exist, we get enter valid city or town. What is it supposed to get? Where is this error coming from? No matching location found. Matter of fact, let's just do this. Let's copy this, come here and update the value so that we can differentiate between these two, between this and this. So if we hit save, enter, come here, some random seed that doesn't exist, boom, no matching location found. Well guys, this is it for the JavaScript part, and let me try once again Italy, just to make sure everything is working all right. Yeah, 24, partly cloudy, and yeah, this is it guys for the JavaScript. Nothing really complicated. Make sure you play around with this thing because there are a lot of things here guys, so don't feel shy. A lot of different types of APIs, like transportation, music, business, facial recognitions, weather, the things we're just from using, gaming, different types of API guys. Don't be afraid to practice with this, and yeah, in case you've got any suggestion for which one you'd like me to make guys among these categories, just let me know and I'll be glad to make one on that. So let's now go back to our CSS guys. Since everything is alright, let's just go back now and deal with our CSS. So yeah guys, in order to avoid wasting your time with our CSS, instead of me doing it all from scratch, I'll just be pasting it, then explaining what it does. So yeah, I'll be copying bit by bit, then explain it. So what I've done here guys for the body, all I'm saying is grab this thing, grab this body thing, then style it. Style it. Where's our CSS? Let me just move this here. And yeah, so as you have noticed guys, this font family doesn't come, this roboto font family doesn't come in with plugged in advance with our CSS. So what you can do in order for you to add this, you can just go to online, just give it a second. Then what you can do is just come here and say Google Fonts, where it says Google Fonts, click there. Forgive me for my slow network guys, forgive me for my slow network. Yeah, so what I'm looking for is this, and which one, just select which one looks appealing to you. I'll go with select this style. So what you can do is just come here, and copy all this, go back to your browser, go back in your HTML, and just after this link you can just paste those links, save, come into our style. Let me move our style there and save this thing too. Then go to our weather app. As you can see guys, it has even changed, the font family has changed. So let's what we can do actually, let's give this a color of wheat. I prefer wheat, not really white, but it's not really white, but so yeah, your info will be displayed here. As you have seen guys, it has been changed a bit. So if we enter Rome, let me just close this, country Italy, city Rome. Yeah, we're slowly getting there. So once we have that guys, the next thing would be, the next thing guys would be to grab the button. Where's the button? This thing right here. Yeah, so let me show you how it's currently looking. It looks slightly ugly, uglish. So you can just come here and paste this thing. And if you really don't want something complex or complete, don't bother with all this. You can just have a look box, shadow, background color, and if I save this, this is what we get. Just a shiny looking button. just to make it a little bit shiny. For the input to have I just added a little bit of margin bottom, you know, like these things were like tightly squeezed, these two things, like our input tag and these letters were like there was no space in between them, so I'd like just had to create a little bit of space. Font size, border radius, no, outline 9, so like when you click on this, to by default to show a box, like to highlight that you have clicked on this input tag, but if you don't want that, you can set the outline to none. Yeah, that's what it does simply, guys, nothing complicated. Yeah, so that's for our button. So the next thing would be for our heading, and our heading is this thing right here, guys. You know, this thing containing, it's actually a div containing all those. So yeah, to style that, why isn't it? Yeah, and for our heading, I'll just paste it in together with our h1. Our h1 is just, h1 is just this. Let me quickly show you which ones are h1. Our h1 is just this thing right here. Yeah, so we're styling it, font family of, but it's just actually same thing, since you know we've like said that to the board, it's just one and the same thing at the end of the day. So for our headings, just giving the margin 0, and so what happens that, let me save this thing, then I'll show you what happens. This is what we get, but if I like comment out this, and you know, since we have given it a width of 60%, like 60%, this is how it will be looking, to be like leaning more on one side of the screen, you know, and not in the middle. So this auto thing just resets it. Like if you set it to auto, what you're telling your browser to like automatically adjust it for you. So like margin, you know, the margin, the first property is always for top and down, then the seconds for left and right. So this is what we're more interested in. So if we save this now, go back to our browser, and we see it like there neatly, you know, in the middle. And background color, cadet blue with kissed border, I just gave it a border of this border. I bet you can see the grayish line in there. Yeah, 2 pixel, border radius 20 pixel. And like I said, if you want, you can actually comment this out, and the h1 don't be that much of a difference, cause yeah, Roboto. But if you want, you can just uncomment it, you know, put your own fonts if that's something that you want to do. Same thing, nothing really changes that much. And yeah, this is it, guys, for our project. If you really enjoy this mini weather app of ours, please guys, do let me know in the comment section. Please subscribe to the channel. This, you know, it's a new channel, but I have a lot of things in store for you guys, trust me on that. Thank you. So for the last thing, we can actually search for, what are we gonna search for? Australia. Can I get that right? Austria. Is it Austria or Australia? Let's see. Country Austria, city Vienna, local time 12, you know, this is the day, partly cloudy. Yeah guys, so this is it, and I'm so thankful for having you with me today. Have a good day and happy coding.